Yo, 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 what up? It's your boy, I Sleep Too Late, and today we are playing some more Vintage on MTGO. Yeah, it's been not such a good league for me. This is the second league I'm in after the release of Avatar, and we've not been doing well at all. It seems like we were 4-1 in the first league, and in the second league we're now 0-3. So right now we're just playing for just practice, really. I'm gonna keep this hand. This seems pretty decent. Um, I do want to stick to mono white initiative. I think it's important as a vintage player to play all different types of decks. However, it is good to like stick to one and generally be like specialized or be good at that specific one. I actually do prefer workshop decks a little bit more than mono white initiative, but they're both similar in many ways. So we're just gonna we're just gonna go with mono white initiative for now since it did so well in the last major tournament. I also think it's probably one of the best decks in the format. I really do. It's just very aggressive, and it also has interaction, which is nice. It's not like just an aggro deck with like no interaction. All right, so we got double Chancellor here. Let's go ahead and get our Chromox in play. And I guess we can just lead with the Witch Enchanter tapped and pass the turn. All right, let's see what we got here. So our opponent's going to lead with a Scalding Tarn. They're playing Lurrus. I feel like you're either playing Lurrus or you're not playing Lurrus. We're going to be able to cast either Archon or White Plume Adventure. I think we're going to favor the Archon, which means we're going to name Archon off of the Cavern because this is going to be very important for us to get that in play first to be able to stop a lot of things that Lurrus likes to do. But yeah, after this we can lead with White Plume Adventure, and whether or not that gets countered is fine. All right, so they played through the Chancellor thinking that I had one probably. I don't know, but we were able to counter that, which is nice. Okay, Katara. Not too familiar with this one. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you get an experience counter. Whenever it attacks, you may draw a card for each experience counter you have. If you do, discard a card. All right, that seems pretty good. It's a 1/3 though. Okay, so we're gonna name Archon here, and see how far we get. Can't be countered. And then if they try to remove the Archon, we just cast another one. I think our plan is to just keep casting them. All right, so they did get Probus. Can't do anything else this turn, which is nice. They're probably doing it for mostly to draw a card, I'm thinking. But see, now they can't do anything else, so that's good. They're probably hoping to recall on my turn and get an experience counter with this thing. I don't really know how Katara plays, but it'll be interesting to see how well it does. It is a 1/3, so we can't really attack through it. Um, I'm down to play more of these Archons, maybe just one more, because if we play two, if we have two on the field, they have to remove one, and then they just can't do anything after that. All right, so we're gonna F6 here. Do they get a +1/+1 counter? No, they don't. Okay. Oh, but if it attacks, they can still trigger it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with these cards, but that thing is going to block my 2/3, so I'm not going to bother. I'd rather have something untapped. And then we can probably just go White Plume next turn. See what they do. So this is a pretty good card to pick up, probably for MTGO. I'm just thinking about cards that I want for my collection. And Katara seems like an interesting one. I'm still waiting for them to come out with like the Doctor Who stuff on Magic Online. You know, they're still missing some of that stuff. I think they're still missing it. I'm not sure. I haven't checked. I haven't played MTGO in a very long time. I'm just starting to get back into it, and yeah, I'd like to continue uploading every day or uploading more regularly. People seem like for a couple weeks ago, people started really watching the some of this stuff. You know, like the vintage stuff. Oh, you know what though? Let's just I was about to cast the Chromox. Let's just cast. Let's just cast the White Plume and see what happens. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out because, all right, they're going to force. That's fine. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't, but I'm also fine with this. I just don't want them to attack is all. So I'm not going to even bother attacking. I was just trying to see what would happen if I cast something that they could counter. So now they're down to 2 cards. They could just put Lurrus in their hand. I don't know why they're not doing that. Alright, well, we're going to attack. We're going to start bringing down the beats. They're going to take 4 here. And then we're just going to cast this. Uncounterable. I don't know, I think 3 Archons is pretty good. Is this an Orcish Bowmasters? Deadly Dispute, sure. Draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. Can't cast anything else though, so that's nice. All we need is like 1, 2, 3, 4. We just need like a land, a white spell, and like an Ancient Tomb, I guess. No, we just need like, this is what, 7 mana? Yeah, we would need like an Ancient Tomb and a white card, basically. Or a colored card to get the Chromox active or something like that. I don't know. It'd be nice to cast this Chancellor eventually, but I know that might be a difficult ask. We'll probably just attack with both of these again and then leave an Archon untapped. I'm also fine with them. The problem is like if they attack with they're going to draw like 3 cards and discard 1. That's pretty decent, right? I mean, they can cast 1 spell a turn, right? So what else can they really do here besides like cycle through their deck? I mean, they just sacrificed one of their artifacts, so they have a treasure now instead of a Mox. Okay, they're going to discard Force Negation, and we're just going to block here. I think really I just need to put more pressure on them. Is this a Psychic Frog? Oh, an Orcish Bowmaster? Sure. Oh, they're gonna ping my. Oh, they can't even destroy my Archon. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh. Oh, actually, you know what? This isn't bad. Let's go ahead and Chromox here. Like I said, I just need like an Ancient Tomb. And I'm just gonna attack. I don't really care about all these other shenanigans. I'm just gonna play Magic. Like I'm at 19, they're at 8. What can they do? All their lands enter tapped. They can only cast 1 spell a turn. Time Twister, sure. I mean, what else are they gonna do? They can destroy like 1 thing, right? They can destroy 2. Oh, they can destroy 2. But outside of that, oh, actually, you know what? I should probably start. Hold on a second. Let's go. Let's get rid of these yields. All right, we're gonna get rid of yields for a second here. We're just gonna we're gonna let all of this stuff resolve, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yeah, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of the Orc army. This is what? Destroy artifact creature. Okay, so yeah, we can just exile this. Um, let's just get rid of the 8/8, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. And then they'll just hit me for 2. I mean, they're gonna run out of cards soon. They're at 40. They're gonna be. Oh, they drew 44. They're at 44 cards in deck. Sure. I think I can still beat them. So our March basically got rid of their 8/8, and now I have a full hand thanks to their Time Twister. So I think I did pretty well here. I mean, they got rid of two creatures, but and I've got yeah, now I've got a Cavernous Souls. So I'm just gonna cast Anointed Peacekeeper. Actually, what I'd like to do here is I'm gonna wasteland them first. I think that's gonna be like #1 priority here. And then we could just cast this and see what happens. All right. So let me just read this real quick. Spells your opponent's cast would cost 2 more. Active abilities cost 2 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. So, I mean, they can Demonic Tutor, right? That would be a problem. The other problem is Snapcaster Mage. More importantly, though, they can Demonic Tutor and get whatever they want. So I think Demonic Tutor is probably the thing to get rid of, or to like nullify at least. I mean, they have the Manifold Key already, but I think that we should probably try to get rid of Demonic Tutor because that just gets them anything they want. And yeah, I mean, it's not like Archon's going to prevent them from attacking, so I might as well just attack them back. Plus, I have Vigilance. They're not going to want to attack me, I don't think. So let's see what their hand was again. We know they got Demonic Tutor. We saw the Deadly Dispute. We know what their hand is. I can't remember if there were 2 Deadly Disputes or not. I think that maybe one of them was from a previous reveal. I should have taken notes. But it's fine. We know like most of their hand. And we know that there's not much they can do here without having Demonic Tutor. Like they need to play like so they have the swamp, right, which is fine. But that only gets them to 3 mana. And they need 4 to cast Demonic Tutor. They need 4 to cast Gibson Given. They can't really do Deadly Dispute unless they want to sacrifice something. They got 3, so they're going to draw 3 cards here and then discard 1. So we're going to get to see what they discard. Okay, it's going to be Deadly Dispute, which I suspect they have 1 copy. Oh, this thing doesn't have flying. Huh, okay. That's interesting. Time Walk, sure. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. They're going to have to discard to hand size. So they drew the Time Walk. They got rid of Demonic Tutor, so we know they have Gifts and Snapcaster. This could be a little scary. I think we're going to want to... Yeah, Gifts and Given is something they can cast now. But keep in mind, they can only cast like 1 spell a turn thanks to the Archon. So I'm inclined to probably just start next turn with Seasoned Dungeoneer. Unless I can draw a Chancellor, then I could just cast it off of the Ancient Tomb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. But I only have 2... I think I only have 2 more Chancellors in the deck. Alright. Let's see if we can get through this turn. So they can Snapcaster Mage and Time Walk here, which is probably what they're gonna do. But they're probably thinking they want another mana so that they get Time Twister. Actually, that wouldn't make any sense with Archon, would it? Yeah, because actually, it wouldn't make any sense with Archon for there to be. I don't know why I'm like thinking about that Snapcaster is so dangerous when I have an Archon. But yeah, now they can't do much with the Talisman. They can't. They've cast their turn already, and then we get to do our thing. All right, so this can only be done at sorcery speed. Only during your turn. I'm gonna just get rid of that. Let's go human here. Yeah, we're gonna name human. And we're just gonna cast this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just get rid of the Wish Claw. Can't do anything about that because they can only activate that on their turn. So I'm punishing them for not doing it right away. Plus, we have a blocker for Orcish Bowmasters. No response. And we'll attack. Orcish Bowmasters can't block the Archon, and Anointed Peacekeeper has Vigilance. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, they can get rid of the Anointed Peacekeeper, right? But then they'd be getting rid of a few of their pieces here. So I think they're going to want to... Are they going to double block here? Yeah, they're going to double block. That's fine. Because, like, their Demonic Tutor is already gone. So I don't care too much about that. Alright, we're going to F6. Actually, let's not F6 because they've been doing this thing where they, like, twist us. So let's actually never yield to, like... Let's never auto yield to response in Vintage. Like we should always like just look and pay attention to every single trigger that happens because we might have a response. We never know, thanks to like the prevalence of Time Twister and Wheel of Fortune. Those cards are powerful. I've seen them more often with like Orcish Bowmasters. I want to say before Orcish Bowmasters, I didn't see them too often, or not as often. So I think it's interesting. But yeah, let's see what they do here. I think the Archon is really hurting them. I know they've got... Okay, so they got the Manifold Key. They played the Swamp already. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Chalice. Chalice is really good. Chalice on 2 hurts them a lot. Yeah, Chalice on 2 hurts them a lot. So I think we should just do that, right? Because that hurts Snapcaster Mage, Deadly Dispute. I think they have a lot of 2-drops that this hurts, so I'm going to proceed. I'm going to proceed to just do this. Chalice on 2. Hurts their Orcish Bowmasters, their Snapcaster. I think that we could have also made an argument for 4, which we also could have done. But I think 2 is just way more important because of the Time Vault combo. So they need to either counter this or... I mean, it's going to be tough for them to come back from this, I think. And being able to cast this now means they're not going to really be able to do the Orcish Bowmasters thing. Alright, they're going to Force of Will this, which means we can probably just freely attack. Well, not freely, but you know what I mean. They're probably thinking... The fact that they're thinking is good, right? All right, so they got rid of Gifts Ungiven, which is good. They still got the Snapcaster, but again, Snapcaster is not going to do anything with an Archon. I think we can safely attack here. All right, so they're going to give up their Orcish Bowmasters. Oh, they have to, right? Because they're at 1. All right, it's all on them. It's all on them to survive. I know they've got a Snapcaster. I don't think they have a Deadly Dispute anymore. I'm going to say they don't. I think they just have the Snapcaster. Yeah, okay, cool. That was a tough one, honestly. I was a little scared, but we managed to pull through. I don't think we want to bring in Swords to Plowshares, because like a 1-for-1ing their creatures. Their creatures are like 2-for-1s, right? So if we 1-for-1, then we just lose advantage. I'd much rather like deal with their tokens with like the march like we did before. I'd much rather like Chalice on 2, and if they do cast a creature, I mean, our creatures are just a little bit better, right? I think that was the gist of what happened last game. And Contained Priest doesn't really do much either. Excuse me. Archon of Absolution doesn't do anything other than like annoy Lurrus. Null Rod can do something against their Tinker targets, but I think that we're probably fine just shipping this. I think we're good. I think that Vexing Bauble and Chalice are just perfect, even though we're on the draw. Because being able to just go like Chalice on 2, for example, like we did before, is really good. This is a pretty decent hand too. We got Chancellor, we got Interaction, we got a turn 2 play, which is nice. Turn 2 is a very important turn. And we've got the Mox Pearl, which is very huge. The best Mox in our deck. So we're going to keep this hand. We're going to go Chancellor, and we're going to just F6 here. Or actually not F6, let's just... Like I said, I have to learn not to F6 against these Lurrus decks. Or against, more specifically, I have to not F6 against Orcish Bowmasters decks. Because that's where it gets tricky. Alright, so let's cast the Mox. And I think we're safe to just play the Witch Enchanter. I think we're okay to just do this. If we want to cast something, we can just cast the March if we need to. But I don't think we're gonna need to unless they like Saga. I'd much rather like hold off on the Wasteland and like see what their land is. And if it's nothing, if I don't, I mean, I could also just Archon, honestly. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. So they didn't crack this for Undercity Sewers, which was probably the right play. Let's see what they got here. We can also like March pitching a Chancellor to get rid of a 2-drop. That's always a possibility. And then we could follow that up with like a Archon or a White Plume or something. Probably an Archon would be more important. I think that like Archon is such an important piece in this game, like in this archetype, actually. I just like how every single part of this deck kind of fits neatly. Like, you've got Cavernous Souls, which makes things uncounterable, and yeah, it's a little bit awkward that all the creatures are like different types, but you do have some overlap with like clerics and humans. And I like that you can just like stop people doing stuff, you know? So this Mox Ruby is going to cost them a mana. They still have 2 mana. They've got the Katara, which is cool, I guess. At the end of their turn, I'd like to march this. Let's march the Katara. Yeah, let's march the Katara. I think that's going to be more important. Alright, let's set X. Let's do done, I guess. I think I did that right. Yeah, X equals 2. Okay. It's more important that we get rid of that than the Mox Ruby, I think. All right, so I say we cast the Archon instead of Wasteland. I think it's more important that we get this Archon on the field. Nice. And, they probably have something up their sleeves, but we got Wasteland. We can Wasteland next turn and get rid of one of their lands, probably the Underground Sea. That denies them Orcish Bowmaster's mana, hopefully. And then we can move on to our combat and end phase. Oh, well, we could also hit Tolarian Academy. But I'm thinking we probably just want to get rid of the Underground Sea still, right? Let me think about this. Yeah, because Underground Sea casts Lurrus and Orcish Bowmasters. And Tolarian Academy is just an island. Is it a mistake to do this? Right now, Tolarian Academy, if they had an artifact, they would have cast it by now, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I think we're safe to just get rid of the Underground Sea. I think the Underground Sea is way more important to them right now than the Tolarian Academy. They can float mana here. We're just going to move on to, like I said, main phase 2. See what they do here. They got a response. Deadly Dispute. Okay. All right. Well, they now have access to all the mana they need, but the good news is they've cast a spell, so we should be clear for White Plume Adventure. And yeah, we'll be able to just F6 here safely, I think. Nice. I really like the way this played out. I think our sequencing was really good. And like I said, we're already down in this league, but it's not about winning or losing. It's about the process. And I keep saying this, and I'll say it again. I have not been doing well on YouTube. As you know, I've been uploading a variety of content. And for better or worse, I think that at the end of the day, I should probably stick to either Magic or Pokemon. I'm going to probably just stick to Magic Vintage content because I really like Vintage. And also, I don't really care too much about what other people think. I'm more interested in just playing Pokemon or just playing games. So, all right, well they hit Wasteland. Um, yeah, that's fine. Just, let's go on an adventure. Forge here on this. And move on to main phase 1. We'll get to cast this Mox, which is kind of cool. Play our planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what are we doing here? Playing around days, I guess. But I think that a Seasoned Dungeoneer is going to be nice. A little bit of variety. Consign, sure. That's fine. Counter the trigger. That's like menial, actually. Let's just yield to this. We have 5 mana. No, let's not. I like having that. It's gonna stop like Force of Wills. And we got protection from creatures. And we're gonna untap this. And oh, I should stop F6ing here. I'm gonna not do that. I don't know what the other numbers are. It's like 1 is like to yield to something, and then 6 is to yield to everything until end of turn. I think 0 is to yield until end of turn, and like have an end of turn response or something like that. Really, the only number you need to know is like 6 and 1. All right, let's see what you got here. We can. I think next turn we win, right? Well, let's see what happens here. So we're gonna trap them, and they're gonna go down to 6. And then we can just Void Mirror here, see what happens. They want to counter this, they can. Okay, no counter, so we can probably safely go White Plume now. That's going to allow us to draw a card. They don't have mana for Orcish Bowmasters. We can hold off on playing the Ancient Tomb for now. This has what? Protection from creatures. So, and yeah, I'm just going to attack, right? Whenever you attack. Sure, I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's give this thing protection from creatures and see what happens here. Yeah, we don't really need Clarion. They're not doing anything here. Into the Flood Moss, sure. Well, that means we get to take another initiative, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I guess we'll play the Ancient Tomb now that we have another spell in case we have more spells to cast. Alright, so they're going to create a token here, presumably. Oh, they're just going to float mana. Yeah, that's probably better, right? But, oof, that's going to be rough. Yeah, because now they have 6 mana, so they can cast a Lurrus, and then they can play Black Lotus again. And this game just got a lot more interesting. This game just got a lot more interesting. Wow. Or Urza Saga is like the best card, like one of the best cards in Vintage, I want to say. Just the fact that it can tutor for like almost anything that's like important. Like so many relevant things like Moxin, Black Lotus, Soul Ring. It's so scary. Like you just have to wasteland it if you can. Dark Ritual. Oh gosh, what is going on here? Demonic Tutor. Okay. I'm surprised they didn't. Oh well, they didn't tap the Tolarian Academy, but they really don't have to. They're just gonna play more artifacts, right? Yogwill. Oh gosh. So they're storming. Oh gosh, I didn't realize they were a storm deck. I guess they are, right? Because they is that what Gifts Ungiven does? All right. Well, I can't do anything anyway because I don't have white mana, so I wouldn't be able to march anything regardless. Wow, that's crazy. It's crazy that they were able to just pull that off. And what they're probably gonna like fatal push my season dungeoneer. They're gonna need to survive like a turn, I guess. But that shouldn't be a problem, right? Because next turn I'm gonna throne and get something big, hopefully, and then maybe I can trap them again. Maybe. Oh, they're gonna recall. This is getting crazy. All because of a saga. All because of one Urza saga. That's crazy. Urza saga single-handedly winning the game. That's crazy. All right, they're probably gonna ping the thing that they gave me. Sure, I can still get protection from creatures. So yeah, I don't know how they don't just not win here. Underground Sea. All right, let's see what they got. They're at 4 minutes and 50 seconds. All right, they got Twister. Yeah, that would do it, right? That gets me down to, well, that doesn't really get me down. That doesn't win them the game just yet. They still have to get through all these triggers. So I think time loss could be a real issue, for them, because they're going to have to figure out how to respond to 14 triggers with 4 minutes left. Yeah, that's a real that's significant time loss. So I wouldn't count that as just like I will just concede willingly, because this is some real time loss here. They have to physically click on all these triggers. All right. So we will reveal something. Um. Well, Clara and Conqueror knocks off their Moxen, their Manifold Key. Um. Yeah, I want to say that's probably the best one, right? I mean, we could also get Anointed Peacekeeper or Archon, but we already have an Archon and a Peacekeeper in our hand. And see, Witch Enchanter doesn't do nearly as much. So let's get the Clarion. We can I think now would be a good time to actually get rid of the Tolarian. Oh crap. I totally forgot about the fact that I can't really do anything here. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna that's fine. We're just gonna do this, I guess. See if they can counter it. They're gonna go down to 2. That's fine. And then we'll just play this. Just a block, I guess. Deadly Dispute, Lorien revealed. They're both pretty bad, but I think I'm gonna go with Lorien revealed because that draws them like a bunch of cards. No, I think it's got to be Deadly Dispute. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't really look at the rest of their hand. Yeah, we're fine. You're fine. Not really sure where to go from here. Let's just F6. And we know what their hand is, right? Alright, so Scalding Tarn is gone. They can add 3 mana with the Tolarian Academy. And they're probably just going to draw 3 cards here, I think. I don't think they're going to want to... Oh, they are going to Deadly Dispute anyway. Okay. But see, now they can't... Now they only have 2 mana to work with. We're obviously going to block the 16/16. We're at 10, so I think we're still looking good here. The alternative they could have done was they could have attacked first, forced me to block with the Peacekeeper, and then cast Deadly Dispute. What are they doing here? Oh, another Deadly Dispute? I was like, what could they possibly be doing with 2 mana? Alright. So now we get to do stuff. Alright, we win. We win! Yay! So that was our one win. We're 1-4, 1-3 in this set. We're gonna keep playing, I guess. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna be going on a trip. And I really thank you everyone for watching it. Those who still stick around with the vintage content. Like I said before, I have been going through this YouTube channel has been going through an identity crisis. So as far as like what we're gonna be doing with it, I think we're gonna continue the vintage series, and regardless of how many views it gets, I don't I have to basically just stop caring about the views and focus more on just making content. Because again, it's about quality over quantity, and I think that's something that's blatantly obvious when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, when it comes to magic, when it comes to life in general. Just be good quality instead of pumping out a bunch of stuff that stinks. So anyway, that's just a little lesson there, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.